Live from our 7 Tasmania studios, your nightly news with Kim Miller begins now.
Good evening, everyone. The Greens have ramped up the antics in Canberra in their sustained fight to end fish farming in Macquarie Harbour. Two senators making extraordinary moves, with debate over the bill heating up in the Senate late into tonight.
It's an issue that's stinking up the Senate.
On the eve of the election, have you sold out your environment credentials for a rotten, stinking extinction salmon? Extinction salmon.
Senator Hanson-Young removed the prop from the chamber.
The unusual stunts pulled off during a debate over legislation guaranteeing farming in Macquarie Harbour this afternoon, sending Liberal Senator Michaela Cash into laughter.
Senator Hanson-Young, you're not in a debate with me. It's a prop. It's a prop. Remove it from the chamber.
It follows her Tasmanian colleague Peter Wish-Wilson gate-crashing the Prime Minister's big budget sell on breakfast television over the issue, Anthony Albanese not taking the bait. And they're not the only ones angered by the bill. Leonardo DiCaprio reeling in his 60 million followers to sign a petition to help save the skates. Liberal Senator Jonathan Duniam telling the Senate while he sympathises with the plight of the skate, it shouldn't come at the expense of jobs.
We need to find a solution to this, and it has to be a permanent, lasting solution that supports these jobs in Tasmania while having an impact which sees the Magean skate survive.
The bill is expected to pass the Senate later tonight. Mark Zita, 7 Tasmania News.
A West Moona man is in custody tonight, accused of erratically driving a stolen car armed with a weapon and crashing into Hobart's Qantas call centre. A woman was left injured while hundreds of other employees were forced to evacuate the building.
Detectives swarming Hobart's Qantas call centre, a 55-year-old man accused of causing mass panic.
He has driven through the front of that building and the vehicle has become lodged inside before an altercation.
The suspect allegedly fled the vehicle before entering the building armed with a weapon.
Axe or sharpened improvised weapon, I guess, would be the best way to describe it.
One employee was injured.
We do have a female that I'm informed has received minor injuries as a result of this matter, and she's been taken through the Royal Hobart Hospital for medical treatment.
While hundreds of others were left shaken, huddled outside together in the car park.
I'd like to acknowledge the courage shown by those people involved that assisted initially with the suspect.
Police say the ordeal erupted well before the car ploughed into the call centre.
10 o'clock this morning, police were called to an address in the Claremont area where an altercation occurred within a private dwelling. Upon arrival there, it was ascertained that a 55-year-old man from West Moona was our suspect.
Desperate to avoid police, the man was spotted leaving the area in a car believed to be stolen. It sparked a police chase towards the Qantas call centre in Goodwood, where the driver was eventually arrested. Meanwhile, firefighters were called to a house fire in West Moona, with authorities believing it could be a related incident. Authorities are investigating the cause of the blaze, but believe there could be a link between this fire and the two other crime scenes. They're now calling on anyone with information to come forward. Rebecca Gaidaneris, 7 Tasmania News.
The budget has drawn mixed reactions from Tasmania's politicians and industry stakeholders. While welcoming infrastructure spending, a lack of funding in some areas of health and support for businesses has underwhelmed many.
State and federal budgets are in rough shape, but Treasurer Jim Chalmers believes there's enough room to boost Tasmania's share of the GST money pool. The state in line for $3.7 billion next financial year, more than what it received a year ago. It's among the positive takeaways for the Premier.
We welcome some initiatives in the federal budget. We welcome investment in health.
There's $55 million going to hospitals and health services, $88 million for the Launceston Northern Heart Centre over 3 years, and more than $10 million for extra Medicare urgent care clinics. But Tasmania's Peak Medical Group says the Albanese government isn't doing enough.
It's actually failed to meet its commitment to our Tasmanian hospitals. We've got an infrastructure crisis. We need to get on with building new hospitals and upgrading and maintaining the existing infrastructure we have.
Frontline health, another sore point.
There needs to be more investment in our primary healthcare sector, particularly when it comes to access to GPs.
Key road projects set to make more headway. $200 million is being put towards Arthur Highway safety upgrades and $80 million for the 5th lane extension on Hobart's southern outlet, while urban renewal projects including Mac Point and Launceston stadiums will get almost $100 million.
Those infrastructure projects are always important.
But the Tasmanian Chamber of Commerce believes the freight equalisation scheme has been forgotten about.
The government won't put their hand in their pocket for $60 million for the increases to the TFES to make that more comparable to what's needed nowadays.
Labor adamant the Albanese government has struck the right balance.
It's been fiscally responsible while at the same time providing cost of living relief, better access to healthcare and investing in the future.
A balance the Prime Minister hopes will also help Labor secure key marginal seats in Tasmania in the upcoming election. Anthony Dodd, 7 Tasmania News.
Time could be running out for TT Line. The chairman of the state's financing authority, Tascorp, telling a parliamentary committee the ferry's operator's borrowing limit will only get them through to September and it might need a government bailout.
We may find that from a Tascorp perspective it's difficult for us to support the level of borrowing.
TT Line is one of the state-owned businesses earmarked for potential privatisation to pay down debt. The case against a former Tasmanian police officer charged with accessing child abuse material has been delayed. Dale Jeffrey Cook was expected to enter a plea when he fronted the Launceston Magistrates Court this morning, but the matter was instead adjourned. He was charged following a series of raids by federal police last month who were acting on a tip-off from the United States. The 54-year-old will face court again in June. The proposed Macquarie Point Stadium is halfway through Tasmania's Planning Commission process, but it's facing yet another hurdle. Australian and Tasmanian cricket officials reportedly flagging concerns about the roof, claiming the ground won't be suitable for the sport unless there's a major redesign.
With the ability to host a range of sports a core part of its business plan, the Macquarie Point Stadium has suffered a major knock. Cricket Australia and Cricket Tasmania have reportedly pleaded with the state government to reconsider the dome-shaped roof, claiming the timber beams will interfere with the light.
The beams have been made as efficient as we can, so they're relatively small, but they are still there, so they do cast a shadow.
In a letter to the state government, both sporting organisations reportedly claim the dome-shaped roof is unlikely to be conducive to hosting Test, One-Day and T20 matches. In a parliamentary committee, those at the helm says the design of the roof has yet to be finalised.
So it is fully designed as the shape and the approach, but as we go through the detailed design, that's finessed further.
We're committed to a roof and we're continuing with designs and different designs for a roof to, cater for every eventuality.
As part of the deal between the AFL and the state government to have a team, we need a stadium with a roof. But the Greens remained steadfast in their position, saying the Liberals should cut their losses now and scrap the project altogether.
If one of the key sporting codes that underpins the business case for this development is now raising questions about whether they can even play their sport under this roof, it just highlights how shambolic and underwhelming the application and this proposal is.
But the Premier remains dedicated to the cause.
There are many challenges, but huge opportunity and massive benefits, which is why I'm very committed to this project.
The Tasmania Planning Commission is expected to deliver its verdict in September. Then the project will still need to pass both houses of Parliament. Lily Thompson, 7 Tasmania News.
Supporters of the Collins Street bike lanes have outnumbered opponents of the project. Around 1,000 people attended a public meeting last night, with voters pushing to scrap the project falling short. The Greens have welcomed the results, saying it will help reduce traffic congestion and improve road safety.
Bike lanes are one of the things that can really help create that barrier between cars and bike riders, thereby increasing the safety.
Construction on the new bike lanes began this week and will continue on as planned. The state's northwest has proven it's much more than just a region to pass through, reporting a record-breaking number of full hotel rooms last month. Tasmania overall performing well, but the sector has little time to celebrate, now turning its attention to the quieter months ahead.
Spirits 4 and 5 might not yet have arrived, but it seems the Northwest is quite good at bringing in visitors already. 90% of its hotel rooms filled last month, the region's highest ever result.
There's always a strong period, but the fact it's on record as the strongest ever shows that it's a great result.
The Tasmanian Hospitality Association's hotel occupancy report showing the second best summer quarter since 2017. Overall, statewide occupancy reaching 89%. The North and the South dropping slightly compared to January, but the industry says there's good reason.
We got an increase in capacity in the hotel rooms in Hobart. So Hobart has been singing over the peak period. It's been great visitation, strong spend.
Operators now urge to make use of shoulder events, which keep demand strong between summer and winter. The Derwent Valley's Autumn Festival proving the perfect seasonal taster.
To our local communities, and the businesses and the organisations that, are really supported by getting people here.
With occupancy rates expected to drop as the temperature does, the THA says there's a big job ahead.
Get some new flights on different new routes, or even get existing routes but get extra flights down here. That's some of the outcomes we've got to continue to work on.
We will energise our winter tourism market with our investment in Dark Mofo, over $20 million investment over the course of the next few years.
Ruby Cairns, 7 Tasmania News.
The jobs of 500 people at Hobart Zinc Works could potentially be in jeopardy. Nearstar's majority owner is set to conduct a strategic review of its Australian operations, which includes the Lutana site. That's according to a statement reportedly made at a global summit by the company's CEO. Tasmanian MP Andrew Wilkie says the smelter is a big economic driver and a closure would be a dreadful blow. Just 2 weeks ago, the company announced it would cut production by 25% from next month due to challenging market conditions. An unlikely pairing between a theatre and charity is showcasing the benefit of more sustainable theatre productions. Japanese production Goldfish is set to form part of the 10 Days on the Island festival. The stage even made up of food borrowed from charities like Loaves and Fishes.
We've been able to go, these charities can use these items. Let's find a way to use these items in the storytelling, and then we can then return them to the charity.
The reason why we got involved is that addressing the issue of food insecurity and food waste must be tackled a little bit at a time.
The troupe also doesn't travel with a set, instead finding items in the city it's performing in. The 10 Days festivities are also swinging into the north. Those in Launceston are being encouraged to embrace the nostalgia of their childhood by taking a ride on a giant swing in the heart of the city.
Magical. It really does take you back to that inner child, that sense of flying and kind of feeling small within a large world.
To have the swing here set up right in the heart of Launceston is absolutely amazing, to encourage people to take a break, to get moving, but most importantly, put a smile on people's faces.
The Civic Square installation will be in action from tomorrow until Sunday. It's a meteoric rise for a young Tasmanian go-kart racer who has aspirations for bigger things in motorsport. Balin Pease is preparing to compete in the National Championships, only taking up the sport recently.
It's ready, set, go for Balin. He's off to Victoria to take part in the Australian Karting Championship this weekend, competing in the KA2 class with national factory team Tom Williamson Motorsport.
Pretty excited, a little bit nervous. It's my first time competing in it, but I'm feeling pretty confident.
Taking a seat behind the wheel only a year ago, the 15-year-old has grown quickly within that time period. His father, also a former driver, crediting Balin's determination.
It's been amazing, but it's been a testament to all his hard work and sacrifice that he's put in, for sure.
Lots of preparation, lots of testing with the team. Lots of training. It's taken, I think, 3 tries to get me into it, but I've finally stuck with it.
The Launceston Car Club is one of 4 in Tasmania, nurturing the next generation of race car drivers. Our state's considered a hotbed for fresh talent.
We probably overrepresent nationally in terms of some of the kids competing. Tassie kids represent 10% of the karters on track, and I think Tassie's about 2% of the Australian population. So we bat well above our average.
With Oscar Piastri's recent win in China, there are hopes more children will take up the sports. As for Balin, he has aspirations to make it to one of the highest levels of motor racing.
Hopefully Formula One, that's the goal. I think that's everyone's goal.
From little things, big things grow. Martin Zita, 7 Tasmania News.
And the NBL 1 South season begins with the North vs South derby this weekend. Both Hobart Chargers teams are hitting the road to take on rivals the Tornadoes and the Northwest Thunder. For the men, they're focused on bringing the heat, while the women's side feels confident they have the experience to shake up the competition.
I think what we've been missing the last couple of years is that group of players between, say, 25 and 35, which we now have.
We're just going to go out there and try and compete, be the most competitive team in the NBL 1 South, and I think that's something we'll try and rest our hats on.
Both teams say they're heading into round 1 at full strength. Be a great weekend of basketball, Kim.
Okay, thanks, Vic. Well, the weather is next with Murph.
Good evening. Hobart and Devonport 21 today. Launceston our warmest, 25 degrees, and Burnie reached 24. Friendly Beaches a high of 23. Smithton and Ouse reached 22. Low Head, St Helens and Grove 21. King Island 20. Flinders 19 and Strawn a high of 18 degrees. The sunniest weather over the north as a cloud band brought a few light showers to the western part of Tasmania, and they snuck over the south and east as well. Thick cloud over much of northeast Australia. Cloud with a monsoon trough over the far north and west. Tropical cyclone Courtney as well offshore, and cloud over us and directly to the north is due to moist air under a subtropical ridge. I'm sure we all knew that. Tomorrow a ridge of high pressure from the system to our east will be over us. Heavy rainfall travels with the trough over the mainland. Fairly light southwest to southeasterly winds up to 15 knots, tending southeasterly over the east and north tomorrow. Forecast for tomorrow, a sunny day for Hobart, 22, same for Cygnet, bit of cloud about though, New Norfolk 24 degrees. Launceston a high of 25 and partly cloudy, Devonport 21, Campbelltown a top of 23 and fine and sunny. Partly cloudy in Burnie, 21 the maximum, 21 for Strawn. Bit of cloud over Smithton but fine and 23 the high. St Helens tomorrow expecting 20 degrees, a morning shower clearing, 21 for Swansea, Fingal partly cloudy and 23 the top. Here's Friday's forecast, a possible shower over the northwest but fine and sunny elsewhere with morning inland fog. A few light showers brushing the state on Saturday, winds shifting cooler from the south, and on Sunday mostly cloudy and light showers again over the east, south and far northwest. Another hot one in Perth tomorrow, a sunny 32 in Adelaide, 23 and partly cloudy for Melbourne. Fine day ahead for Canberra and Sydney, rain and 25 the top in Brisbane, storms over the tropics. Cloudy here, 16 in Hobart, 19 in Launceston, Devonport currently 18 degrees. Kim, I love your new hair colour. Is it lighter or darker?
It's a little bit lighter. Thanks for noticing. That is all your news for now. Thanks for joining us. I'll be back later with updates. Good night, everyone.